Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 virtual Mel Woodward Cup. My name is Anna Gazine, and I'll be your host this evening. Before we get started with the event, we would like to acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. We encourage everyone to reflect on the lands where you are located and the Indigenous peoples for whom these lands are traditional territory. Now let's kick off the 5th annual Mel Woodward Cup and see what the next generation of entrepreneurs are working on. As the competition unfolds, I encourage you all to use your social media channels to share updates from this event using the hashtag 2021MWC. First, I'd like to welcome a few special groups of people. To the students joining us today, we are excited to have you here. If you are a student, drop us a message by typing what you're studying in the comments on your right. We hope this event inspires many of you to apply for the Mel Woodward Cup in the years to come. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to the family of the late Dr. Mel Woodward. We are especially glad to have some of them participate in the 5th anniversary of this competition. We're also pleased to have a number of supporters joining us who have provided funding, in-kind donations, leadership, and guidance for the Mel Woodward Cup and the Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship. Finally, I'd like to recognize a few special folks who have been key supporters of the MCE and the Mel Woodward Cup. Honorable Seamus O'Regan, Minister of Natural Resources and Member of Parliament for St. John's South, Mount Pearl. Karen Skinner, Vice President, Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, Newfoundland and Labrador. Honorable Andrew Parsons, Minister of Industry, Energy and Technology. Dr. Vianne Timmins, President and Vice Chancellor, Memorial University. Dr. Gary Kachanowski, Past President and Vice Chancellor, Memorial University. Dr. Isabelle Dostelaire, Dean of Faculty of Business Administration. Dr. Greg Naderer, Dean of Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science. Dr. Dennis Peters, Acting Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science. Dr. Travis Fridgen, Acting Dean, Faculty of Science, and MCE's Advisory Board and funders. Thank you all for joining us. For those of you who don't know me, I am a 2019 mechanical engineering grad from MUN, and I'm currently a product designer at Verafin, based here in St. John's. My experience with MCE started in 2016 as an MCE ambassador, where I was exposed to the world of startups and amazing entrepreneurs in the Newfoundland and Labrador startup community. A few years later, in 2018, I started VitalMist, with the goal of developing a low-tech medical device to better administer medication for those that need it. The Mel Woodward Cup that year gave me the opportunity to share VitalMist with the world, and as one of the winners, helped me to continue my startup journey, a journey that wouldn't have been possible without an opportunity like this. The Mel Woodward Cup is such an exciting event, as it provides a space for new entrepreneurs to share their ideas. And today we're lucky to have 5 teams whom this competition is helping with their startup journeys. But before we hear from them, let's talk about why we're all here today. Dr. Mel Woodward was one of the province's most successful entrepreneurs. He built companies that are major players in oil and gas, aircraft refueling, and automotive and marine transportation. He dreamed big, and as part of his legacy, Dr. Woodward's family wanted to inspire others to follow their dreams through entrepreneurship. In 2016, the Woodwards approached the Faculty of Business Administration to see how they could help motivate young people to engage in entrepreneurship. At the same time, the Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship was looking for ways to encourage more students to think like entrepreneurs and help them access startup funding to launch their own businesses. The business faculty brought the Woodwards and MCE together And 5 years later, the Mel Woodward Cup continues to showcase the bright, determined entrepreneurial students here at Memorial University and has helped launch such startups as Colab Software, Breathe Suite, PolyUnity, Nucleic Biologics, and many more. This competition is also supported by ACOA. So a huge thanks to the Woodward family for your generosity and to ACOA for also seeing the value in supporting entrepreneurship. For the second year, due to restrictions arising from the COVID-19 pandemic, we are holding this competition virtually. However, we want to ensure that student entrepreneurs can engage with all of you. So there will be an opportunity for virtual networking and expo booths a little later. This evening, 5 finalists will be pitching for one of the top prize amounts, $25,000 for the winning team and $15,000 for the runner-up. In addition, 8 local organizations have generously provided in-kind prizes for the top 2 teams. From Genesis, teams with a technology-based business will have free registration to the Evolution program, plus access to the Mars Market Intelligence Reporting, valued at $50,000. From Gardner Center, a complimentary 1 or 2 day professional development seminar valued at up to $1,000. From Perfect Day, 15 hours of design services for logo exploration, graphic design, copywriting, icon illustrations, templates, pitch deck design, or any other design service. From the St. John's office of McInnes Cooper, an incorporation package. From KPMG, up to 5 hours of pro bono tax services over the next 12 months. From Altitude Media, a 1-minute brand video. From TechNL, 1 free annual membership and a presentation at a future TechNL event. And from Hey Orca, a free 1-year subscription to Hey Orca's social media scheduling tool. A big thank you to all of our in-kind sponsors for providing prizes that will help today's teams grow their startups. This year, 42 teams applied for the Mel Woodward Cup. A panel of 5 judges reviewed all of the applications and narrowed down the competition to 9 semifinalists, who then gave in-person interviews to the judges. From there, 5 finalist teams were selected. Thank you to Gary Din, Rachel Palter, Melanie Campbell, Garrett Doyle, and Dr. Tom Cooper for your time and hard work in selecting the finalists that we'll be hearing from this evening. A big thank you as well to all of the applicants for being engaged and working so hard. We hope that you continue to grow your startup, and we look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Today, we'll learn about each team through a 4-minute pre-recorded video, which the judges have already seen. Then each team will have 8 minutes to answer the questions live from our panel of judges. Once we've heard from all 5 finalists, the judges will deliberate privately and then have 30 minutes to make their decision. While the judges are deliberating, we'll invite all of our viewers to visit the virtual expo booths in Hopin to explore the startups of both our finalists and some of the other applicants to this year's Cup. You can also hop into the virtual networking area to connect with other attendees and finalists via video chat, and we'll provide more details about how to do that just before the break. The winning teams will be announced at 7:40 p.m. Newfoundland time. So make sure you're back here in the main stage for that exciting moment. The Mel Woodward Cup is intended to provide the top teams with the investment they need to develop successful startups. But as these students work to grow their ventures, it's also fostering the capacity of students to forge their own career paths right here in Newfoundland and Labrador as our future business and community leaders. So I thank you all for joining us and for supporting the future of business and entrepreneurship in Newfoundland and Labrador. Now that we've set the stage, it's time to get started with our program. First, NCE is privileged to enjoy great support from Memorial University, the federal government through ACOA, and the provincial government through the Department of Industry, Energy, and Technology. I'm pleased now to share with you videos from Dr. Vianne Timmins and the Honorable Seamus O'Regan.
On behalf of Memorial University, I'm pleased to welcome participants and viewers to the finals of the 2021 Mel Woodward Cup. I have yet to attend this competition in person, but I'm very excited to participate virtually again this year and to learn about the innovative businesses that our students are developing. This is also the 5th year for this competition. Wow. Congratulations to the Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship and the Woodward family on 5 years of supporting entrepreneurial students at Memorial University. I would like to thank the Woodward family for their generous donation that has made this competition possible and for their ongoing support of student entrepreneurs at Memorial University. The competition continues to grow thanks to the team at MCE, and this year's competition received the most applications to date. That's really exciting. This is a critical time not only in our province but around the world. We are still in a pandemic and many individuals and businesses are struggling. We need people. We need people who can find solutions, who can think creatively, and who are motivated to make a difference in the world. To the students who are pitching your ideas today, your creativity and ingenuity will help us lead the way in the future. Good luck to all of this year's finalists, and I look forward to seeing all of you soon.
Hey everyone, and congratulations on making it to the finals of the 2021 Mel Woodward Cup. I grew up in Goose Bay. Mel and Sybil were our next door neighbors. He hired me as a baggage and cargo handler, and that's how I worked my way through my undergrad, as a ramp rat. That's what we called ourselves, as a ramp rat at Goose Bay International Airport. I can still see him making his way down to the airport terminal from the Woodward Aviation Services hangar, checking in on us. He was hands-on. He taught me a lot by his example. Ambition, tenacity, how to jump at opportunities. As entrepreneurs, you are ambitious, you're tenacious, you jump at opportunities. Believe me, we are living in a time of opportunity. Very soon, we're going to be rebuilding our economy, building it back better. That means building a future that is more sustainable, more inclusive, more prosperous for everyone. And we need you to do that. We need your drive to innovate, to create new opportunities, new technologies, new solutions, to build back better. This is a massive challenge. Mel would have loved it. Best of luck to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Timmins and Minister O'Regan, for sharing your ongoing support. Now, as a special treat this year, we've created a short documentary to highlight the man that Mel Woodward was, the entrepreneur he became, and the impact he left behind. Please enjoy.
Mel was a lovely person, and I really had a good friend.
It was a joy to be with him, and he was always learning, never ceased learning.
If there was an obstacle in the way, he would try to go around it, over it, or if necessary, through it to get the job done.
We still call that, the Mel Woodward way.
Our next speaker, from the business point of view, Mr. Mel Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
His determination was driven by partially by his upbringing. He was born in 1933. The truck system that existed in Newfoundland at the time, where you would be given credit at the merchant store, and as you delivered your fish during the year, you would deplete the amount of money that you owed to the merchant, was something that really drove him. That's why he was driven to be the entrepreneur that he was. He really didn't want to work for somebody else. He wanted to work for himself. And that was the theme of his most of his career. Why work for somebody else when it's so much more rewarding to work for yourself?
He had a vision of growing from one truck to what later became, as we know, the Woodward Group of companies. And a lot of it was related to his perseverance, but also his wife Sybil was very important in this here.
One of the Collingwood family was here at the time. They were operating a car dealership type thing, and they had an oil truck for sale. So I guess one day my dad went home and he said, Sybil, if only I had $300, I could buy that oil truck and, I'd start start my own business. And she said, do you really want to do that? And he said, oh, that would be my dream. So she went into her closet. It was in the summer at the time, and her Parker was hung in the closet, and she reached into the pocket of the closet and she pulled out $300. And he said, where in the world did you get $300? She says, I've been skimping on the groceries and putting a little bit away. So that was how they started the oil business.
He had this keen ability, I guess, to see opportunities and growth or expansion before anyone else did. And he was able to zone in and focus on those opportunities to make his Woodward empire, I guess, of the group of companies. He always used to say, well, if a company on the mainland can do it, why not a Newfoundland Labradorian company? Why not Mel Woodward?
He had a notion of reclaiming Newfoundland's position in supplying or resupplying the Arctic. He's proud of what he did, and what he done, I think, more than anything else, was revolutionized, made much better life for a lot of people who live in our province.
Not only did he expand his business, but he kept his business in Happy Valley. And as we know, today, that business employs 700 or 800 people all over the province.
One of the things that we used to do together would be to sign payroll. And, it used to take us hours sometimes to go through them. Not because, he was looking at, their rates of pay or how much overtime or sick leave. He looked at the names, he looked at the addresses where they all lived and, all these things. And he usually had a story on every single person.
I think he would be very, very delighted to know that there's a cup at Memorial called the Mel Woodward Cup.
If he was alive today, he would be front and center at all these presentations. He would be in the front row. And not only that, he would want to talk with them afterwards. He would want to, hear their energy and their vision.
Mel would be very, very proud. The people that are able to be supported by the Cup, they would be able to be on a journey in life that they would have a chance to do well financially, and also be able to make a contribution within the community and in the world that we live in now.
I think he'd be very proud about the fact that these young students that are coming out are chasing their dreams, and they're going to work for themselves and following the true entrepreneur way of life.
Anytime that anyone wants to be inspired by going into business, give me a call. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you how to do it. And if you want to, I'll probably go and show you how it can be done. But there's opportunities there out there, and there's many of them. I enjoyed my spiel. Maybe not a lot of substance, but think about it. It's worth it. Thank you.
Wow, what an inspiring person Dr. Woodward was. Thank you to everyone who participated in the video and shared your memories. It really helps to connect this competition to the impact that one person can have on their communities and the province. Now, it's time to meet the judges. First up is the chair of our judging panel, Jeremy Andrews. Jeremy, what is your current role and what are you excited about hearing today?
Yeah, my name is Jeremy Andrews. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Collab Software. We were one of the winners of the inaugural Mel Woodward Cup way back in 2017. I made a lot of really good relationships during and after that event, and I'm excited to do the same here today.
Great, thank you. Next up, we have Sally Daub. Sally, what is your current role and what are you most excited for today?
You're on mute.
Sorry, somebody muted me. Sorry, I'm Sally Daub. I am managing partner of an early stage venture fund called Pool Ventures, and I'm a past entrepreneur in the semiconductor industry, and I incubate several startup companies and help them to scale to larger organizations. And I'm very interested today because I think some of the startup activity that's happening in the Newfoundland arena is quite interesting. As we just heard from CoLab, was one of the companies I watched grow from early days and worked with through CDL. And so I'm excited to see what we're going to see today.
Awesome, thank you. Next up is Isaac Adejuan. Isaac, what is your current role and what are you most excited for today?
Thanks, Anne. My current role is the CEO and co-founder at Metrics Flow. And we also started out of MON and went through most of these programs. We're part of MC. And we also launched as students back in engineering school at MON. And so just seeing other students also explore entrepreneurship and choose the path of being an entrepreneur is very exciting. So I'm very excited to meet the companies and hear more about their pitches.
Great, thanks, Isaac. Next up, we have Brendan Paddock. Brendan, what is your current role and what are you most excited for today?
Hey all, I'm Brendan Paddock. I'm the CEO of Columbus Capital Corp, but basically spent my life in the telecom business. I like to think of myself as an entrepreneur, but more accurately an entrepreneur, because like most cases, you spend your life dealing with all the shite rather than the good things. And after reviewing these 5 candidates, they are definitely into all kinds of interesting shite. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about it.
That's great. That's definitely one way to put it. Last up, we've got Elizabeth Tikoyan. So Elizabeth, what is your current role? And same question, what are you most excited for?
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth Tikoyan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Riley App. It's a health tech platform that connects patients to cures and community. I'm also a very passionate advocate for health and disability issues, and because of my own health battle, I'm really excited to learn more about these startup founders, their ideas, and how they plan to change the world. And I'm also really excited to see the great ways these founders plan to implement their ideas and ways they're planning to scale their companies from an idea to something that can potentially, hopefully, become a global household name one day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you participating and sharing your time and insights with our teams today. Before we hear this year's pitches, we have one more surprise up our sleeves. To commemorate the 5th anniversary of the Mel Woodward Cup, we caught up with some previous winners to find out where they are now.
When we had won the Mel Woodward Cup, pre-suite was just getting started. It was about 3 people and a prototype and MVP. Since then, we have grown our team to 18 full-time employees based here in St. John's.
We formed a really awesome team and we did a ton of market research. Ultimately, at the end of the day, things didn't work out. So now I live in Toronto, where I work for another health tech startup.
We've grown a team from the 2 of us to about 40 people. We've raised money from some of the top investors in North America, done Y Combinator, and I think most importantly, I've started working with some of the coolest engineering teams on the planet.
After winning the 2018 Mel Woodward Cup, I did a cash flow analysis, and it was going to be a little bit expensive to get off the ground. I'm reiterating on it currently, so I'm hoping to get something up and running here soon.
Although the startup that I had didn't really work out, my job now is really pitching designs to both the company and to customers, and then working with them to identify problems and how we can best work with them. And I owe all of those skills that I've learned to my time both working at Vital Mist and what I learned from MCE.
The injection of capital and some of the network effect of just being at the event, I can attribute it to where we are today.
We were able to leverage the prize money from the Mel Woodward Cup with government funding programs, and that allowed us to expand our team to 5 members.
It really gave us the confidence, and me the confidence, to continue leading the company, but also really validated the whole concept of the company as well. We've gotten more research agreements in place now and are starting to work with some of the pharmaceutical companies in Canada.
The Mel Woodward Cup put us on a trajectory where we could really do what we wanted and have free range with our idea. It allowed us to develop some sort of research plan, get involved with research and development, and buy some equipment that was desperately needed.
We discovered that while our idea was helpful and good for medical students, the manufacturing process was probably going to be quite hazardous to the environment. My background is from engineering, but I picked up a lot of marketing skills as a result of the Mel Woodward Cup, as a result of Suchu, and I'm still doing that to this day.
Since winning Mel Woodward Cup, we were also able to acquire funds from both provincial and federal government for the development of our project. And we are in the middle of our R&D where we are developing the product, and soon we'll be releasing the product by the end of this year.
It just taught me to be very confident, and it taught me that I'm capable of much more than I ever thought I would be.
Reach out to MCE and start talking. You will know, you will have your answers, you will know if your idea is good or if you have to modify your idea.
MCE and the Mel Woodward Cup, honestly, the impact they're having right now has already taken and created this amazing community of people who are passionate about entrepreneurship. I think 10, 15 years from now, MCE partner with the Mel Woodward Cup is going to be sort of the foundation that gives us the top of funnel that fills the rest of the ecosystem to make Newfoundland the place we want it to be.
So the Mel Woodward Cup finally has a cup. Well, this competition just got a little more exciting. Who will be the next 2 teams to have their names engraved on the cup? Good luck to you all this evening. One last note to the teams and judges. I will hold up a 1-minute warning sign when there is 1 minute left in the Q&A, so please watch for that. Now, are you ready to hear from our student finalists? Let's get the pitches started. Our first team is BX Medical Solutions. First, we'll watch their pitch video, and then the team members will answer questions from the judges.
Obesity is a critical problem in North America, costing the economy over $150 billion annually. In Canada alone, it is estimated that nearly 27% of all adults are obese. This chronic and complex medical disease has been linked to heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Bariatric surgery is a medical intervention often used as treatment of severe obesity. Bariatric surgery can lead to significant weight loss when paired with behavioral changes such as modified diet and activity regimens. BX Medical Solutions is developing an application to help patients and physicians when such a treatment plan is chosen. After bariatric surgery, patients must track several key metrics for their clinicians. Typically, the patient will rely on several different applications or confusing paper-based journal methods to track these metrics. Clinicians rely on accurate data to monitor results and the health of the patient. The current approach is a terribly inefficient process, often leading to regimen adherence issues, poor data, and less than optimal care. In 2020, Obesity Canada released the Clinical Practice Guidelines, which featured 2 prominent recommendations: the implementation of a web-based management strategies, incorporate individualized feedback, and follow up using technology-based strategies. Our product is a health management platform for patients undergoing bariatric surgery. Its purpose is to assist patients and clinicians with following post-surgery regimens. The platform features a mobile app for the patient and a web portal for the clinician. For the patient, the mobile app provides an easy-to-use interface to log important data. This can be completed manually or by using popular health-enabled devices such as MyFitnessPal and the Fitbit. The clinician will have a web-based tool that contains all the patient's inputs. The clinician will be able to monitor and provide personalized feedback through the application as they progress through their treatment journey. All data is collected through the BX Medical Solutions service, which allows us to perform AI-assisted algorithms on patient inputs to automatically monitor for any irregularities. BX Medical Solutions provides value through connecting the clinical circle of care team with patient data, creating communication channels between patient and the clinician, providing AI-assisted monitoring and reporting. Preliminary primary market research has been conducted with bariatric surgery patients, and the Eastern Health Bariatric team has confirmed that the solution offered by BX Medical Solutions is needed and would provide significant benefit to their clinical workflows. Clinical members described how patients have become overburdened by the complication of keeping track of data, leading to poor adherence and frustration. Secondary research has shown there to be tremendous market potential for an enhanced care platform for bariatric surgery patients. The North American bariatric surgery treatment market is valued at $5.1 billion. This will be our target market. Initial revenue streams will see the BX Medical Solutions platform sold directly to healthcare authorities and private clinics that specialize in bariatric patient services. An initial scan of the bariatric care market has identified a US-based application called Baritastic. This product features the logging of patient data post-operation, but no clinical care team application. Our product advantage is bridging the gap between the patient and the clinical team. Our team consists of myself, Alex Mills, a Term 7 computer engineering student with industry experience in full-stack development, and Malcolm Snow, a Bachelor of Science graduate with experience in clinical research. Mentorship has been provided by Dr. Lori Twells, a professor of epidemiology and an expert in bariatric research, along with Jacob Brown, an expert in application design and development. Funding from the Mel Woodward Cup will allow us to grow our development team, continue with product development, working towards an MVP application to conduct a pilot project.
All right, I will now hand it over to the judges for an 8-minute question and answer period.
I have a question. So my first question is, do you have buy-in from the medical world?
Yeah.
Right now, because
yeah,
sorry,
we
go ahead.
conducted clinical interviews with the Eastern Health Bariatric team, which is our local health authority here in St. John's. And when we presented this, they were absolutely ecstatic about the potential that this could have in their clinical workflows. I mean, they just were really enthusiastic about applying this both for their use and to the patient's benefit as well.
Okay, because my follow-up question is, say you get this to market and you don't have buy-in, they're not going to be your initial customers. So what would then be the differentiator for what your solution is? Like if a clinician is not backing you up and is not it's not just for consumers but for clinicians, then what would be the differentiator for what your platform is? Like why would
Yeah, so I can take.
Sure thing.
Sure. So we kind of have another side of it too, which is the AI assisted alerts, which is a huge benefit for the clinical team. So it would save a ton of time. But even if you're a bariatric surgery patient and you're using this application, these AI assisted alerts can certainly keep you on track. So if we sold this as a SaaS application through app stores and etc., they could use it independently as well.
Yeah, I'll ask a quick question. And you're alluding to this. Who is going to pay for this? And what are you estimating the ASP will be on this?
Yep. So we plan on selling directly to the healthcare authorities that specialize in the bariatric surgeries themselves. To be honest, we haven't actually looked at the models of what we would charge because we just haven't hit that stage engagement yet with the healthcare authorities. Another route that we might hope to go in the future is that because the core functionality of the application exists, we hope to partner with other companies such as pharmaceutical companies that offer pharmacotherapy for obesity. And the post-treatment regimen or during that therapy is very similar to post-bariatric surgery. So that might be something that we hope to explore in the future.
Just one last question. Do you know if do you need regulatory approval for the app, and have you looked at reimbursement at all?
Yeah, we would need regulatory approval. We would have to follow all of the data protection regulatory laws that exist, and those are built into the code that we will be deploying the app through. So we have to follow all that.
Can you speak a bit to the solution? So it takes quite a long time to build both the mobile app and the web application version of this. So you'll need to prototype and somehow get this in front of people sooner than that. What's your plan for validating the actual product?
Yeah, so I can take this one. We plan to conduct a pilot project, ideally through Eastern Health. We're pretty close now with the clinical care team. We've been in talks and just getting feedback from them on what they'd like. But that's the main goal, to get this MVP application into a pilot project and then go from there.
Yeah, we actually have a meeting scheduled for next week to discuss potential partnership to test and validate this application.
So is that MVP an actual application, or is it mock-ups, or what's the plan?
Yeah, so we'd like to have a pretty bare bones mobile app complete, along with a web dashboard, like just logging, displaying data, some pretty static AI alerts. So technically not AI, but just bare bones to test out and see if it actually helps people.
Cool, thanks.
Brendan, you're on mute. I see your
So
mouse
thanks for
moving,
that.
but you're on mute.
I should be back on now, right? Every time they move rooms, they mute us. Just building on Elizabeth and Sally's questions.
Yeah.
How do you see client onboarding work? How do you get the patient consents? Do you have, I think Sally mentioned something that would be akin to, the ethics side of it, or the privacy, that sort of side? Because I see you guys as sort of a hybrid between sort of Breathe Suite and Sequence Bio, and you get the same issues.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about this with the clinical care team. To really get patients to use this, we'd like it to be part of their actual post-surgery regimen. So let's say they undergo bariatric surgery, Eastern Health would require them to then use this app, right? So that would handle like distributing, not forcing the patients to use it, but having as a requirement for those post-surgery regimens.
Yeah, ultimately it's the patient's consent to whether they want to utilize the platform. But what the clinical care teams have communicated to us is that the majority of the patients that do undergo surgery, this would really benefit how they keep track of their post-treatment progress. Yeah.
A quick question about.
I actually have a question. Go ahead.
A quick question about your market size. So right now you're focused on one form of surgery, which is related to obesity. What are the plans to expand into other forms of surgery, and how easy is it to explore that other vertical?
Yeah, so kind of as I mentioned earlier, we hope to validate this product. When we started building this, our development plan was we'll start really specific with the bariatric surgery aspect, and then from there, once it's validated, we can move into the other therapeutic areas, such as the pharmacotherapy, or even targeting other diseases that are similar to obesity and require kind of different behavioral shifts in terms of increased activity and modified diets, and then we can go from there. And also, the application is is built to shift easily between the disease.
Thanks.
One more question for me. Why do you guys want to work on this?
Yeah, so
this started when I was in third year of my undergrad during a co-op experience I had. I worked on the Newfoundland and Labrador bariatric surgery project, and I was responsible for evaluating thousands of data points of the patients. And when I saw how much information they were required to monitor after surgery, I thought there had to be a better solution. And now, after discussions with the clinical care teams, I see a massive opportunity for other applications and places that can provide value to their workflows as well. So that's the motivation.
You mentioned a SaaS platform. You mentioned a SaaS platform. Who owns the data?
The data is always owned by the patient. In terms of, well, we actually haven't gotten to that particular point in development yet. We're not there yet.
That's actually, that's all the time. Sorry for the questions. I'm going to cut you guys off there. So thank you very much, BX Medical Solutions. We'll send you back to your breakout room now, and welcome in our second team, which is Origin Data. So first we'll watch their pitch video, and then we'll have the Q&A.
Imagine spending thousands and thousands of dollars only to lose that investment in a couple of years due to cheap identification tags. This is exactly what's happening in Newfoundland and around the world right now. Geologists in the mining and exploration industry know this all too well. They go through the trouble of claiming land, collecting and analyzing data over an extensive period of time, setting up camp, drilling their test samples, and labeling them for all future identification. These samples could then sit for months or even years before being reanalyzed or needed for further testing. During this time, the geological samples are most likely exposed to harsh weather, and the ID tags used to reference them degrade and become impossible to read, rendering that sample useless. With just over $2 trillion spent globally on mining and exploration activities, this is not a small problem. With a global addressable market size of $876 billion and a North American serviceable market of $168 billion, our target market is the Canadian mineral sector, or $48.2 billion. We expect to break into this market starting with Eastern Canada, which totals 54%, or $25.8 billion. Every active mining project begins with extracting samples. So again, this is not a small problem, and that's why we're creating a solution. Innovative sample ID tags that enable direct and instant access to all recorded data. We are taking a 21st century approach to an age-old problem. Our highly durable tags are laser etched to ensure longevity of the product, meaning the ID will be readable for decades to come. Our fixation on creating an interactive yet functional product has demanded the need for dynamic content. A barcode gives exactly that. Scanning this barcode with your mobile device links you directly to the project data hosted on the cloud. This presents the opportunity for new workflows, saving time and money while increasing collaboration. We recognize that privacy and data security is one of the top priorities in this industry. That's why we hold ourselves to the highest standard, ISO 27002, the same code of practice that Eastern Health uses to protect your personal information. Up to now, we have gained 2 highly interested potential clients, one of them being the fastest growing gold producers locally, the other having national and international projects. Through our 25 customer interviews so far, we have gained 4 letters of support from industry experts with high standings. 25 interviews have validated our idea and are excited to see it come to life. We have the competitive advantage over other companies in this field. Companies such as CoreLogger and Geomax offer hosted data management, while Services Exploration offers ID tags, but no company currently provides the same quality or functionality of dynamically linked tags and data together. Origin Data is comprised of myself, Ali Fahouri, a month student doing my master's degree in computer science with experience in software development, and Cole Inkman, a graphic designer with hands-on experience in the mining and exploration industry. We're on a mission to better this industry as a whole, and we're ready to do whatever it takes, doing what we love. Our advisory board currently consists of Alan Cram from Nova Mirror Inc. and Ed Moriarty from Mining Industry NL. If we obtain funding from the Mel Woodward Cup, we will leverage this money with NRC to increase our capital and dive headfirst into prototyping and developing our first version product. In the near future, we're aiming to partner with geoanalysis labs to expand our offerings and create a more interconnected industry. We also want to forge relationships with educational research and development offices to design new products and ideas to, again, better the industry. One of our mandates is to overhaul the Newfoundland government's storage network of geological samples to protect our province's massive investment. Never lose your data again.
All right, I will hand it over to the judges now for your 8-minute Q&A.
You guys mentioned ISO 27000.
I have a clarification that I'd like.
Sorry, Elizabeth. I think she might be breaking up a bit. Yeah, you mentioned ISO 27002.
Oh, sorry, flag. But
so my question was, those control sets are incredibly comprehensive, and it's very early stages for you folks. So I'm just curious, you know, what have you actually been working towards on that front so far?
Yeah, all right. So first of all, because we understand that this is one of the most important, like security is one of the most important aspects of this industry, this is the standard that we want to reach. So obviously, as an MVP and our first version of the product, this is not going to be there, but we're looking into developing our software so that we can match those stats of security. So this is something that we're going to be looking forward to as we develop our product and for future versions.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Guys, I got a problem understanding the size of the prize here. So you talk about the size of the mining market at, you know, billions globally, 48 billion in Canada, 26 billion in Eastern Canada. But what's the size of your market? So, you know, labeling of samples from the mining industry.
Definitely. So getting those numbers are near impossible from mining companies because you would have to target each company individually. We know that there was $64.9 million spent in Newfoundland alone on exploration for this tags, and all the samples, all that money is spent towards extracting the samples and analyzing them to see if it's viable for an active mine site. And all of those samples would require a tag. So finding the price for how much the industry as a whole spends on tagging or identifying their samples, we wouldn't be able to find that anywhere.
I have a quick question. What do you see as your moat? And so if this becomes desirable, how do you prevent somebody else from doing this or undercutting you and providing a cheaper solution on the tags?
Yeah, all right. So first of all, in terms of we're able to, what we're planning on doing is patenting the tags themselves. So this is something that we're looking more into to see if we're able to get any intellectual property on the tags and on our code as well. And as for so like right now on the market, we don't have any competitors who are combining both the software and the tags at the same time. So again, that's what we're planning on doing.
Can you guys hear me properly?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So you guys in the video focused a lot on the tag, but I have I would like some clarity on the software solution that you also have and how you're going to go from the tag to like importing the data and how that software solution and tag both go hand in hand. And can you guys
So I can speak to the software being used with the tag. I didn't hear the second part of the question you cut out. But the software would be linked dynamically to the tag. So currently geologists and prospectors, both in exploration and active mine sites, use a variety of different methods of storing their files. So they could use either a private server, hard drives stored directly on their own personal computer, Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, all these different things. So it can become a mess of where all the files are located for collaborating with your team. And after 4 years, it's mandatory that this information has to be sent to the government for control. So that also makes that difficult. So our application would be able to have all the storage in a single spot to make it easier to send to the government later on to collaborate with your team. And just we would also have other features as well, like custom maps down the road, messaging to interact with your team all on the same platform. So we're trying to make collaboration super easy and file management all in a single place easier.
I have a bit of a two-part question. It seems like there's kind of two problems here. There's the physical deterioration of the tags, and then there's the cloud-based data management and sharing part. Why do you feel like you need to attack both of those? Have you considered working with an existing tag manufacturer and only solving the cloud-based problem? And then my follow-on question is, how much of the market validation, so you had some kind of letters of intent from potential customers, how much of that was about the cloud-based aspect of the solution?
So just to actually report, so regarding the tags themselves, we are looking into producing the tags ourselves. So some companies right now, what they do is that they order the tags from out of the province. So we want to do that in the province. And the reason why we're doing that is because basically the tags themselves, all the data that the tags lead to is the data that they are currently storing on those different platforms and those different softwares. So kind of like building this cloud software specifically to hold all this information and adding the tag to it will make everything so much clearer and so much easier for the users.
I guess one way to sum it up easily would be that geology is defined in context. So if you have all the data for your sample while you're in front of the sample, it just clearly makes sense that way.
What was your second question, sorry?
How much of your market validation, so those letters of intent, how much was that related to the cloud-based aspect, the application aspect, and how much was just the tags?
Yeah, so all of the customer interviews that we've done so far have validated both the cloud solution and tags as well. So we're kind of like going through a part of our questions as well as we would go through some questions regarding the software the softwares that they use and the tags as well. So far they've been validated.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
I have a question about your market size. So have you looked at other markets outside of Newfoundland? And also in terms of the industries, have you looked at other industries outside of mining?
Definitely. So with my background being graphic design, sign manufacturing is a good method for this technology for labeling signs or even creating different things, as well as environmental regulations, environmental management, legal enforcements. There is a wealth of industries that this could be applied to in Newfoundland and all across the world.
Yes, and just to add a little bit about that, so during some of our interviews as well, we met people in the oil and gas industry who were very interested as well. On top of that, even labs who work with geological samples, they were very interested in that as well. And we're in fact looking forward into having a meeting with someone in Eastern Analytical so that we're able to help them out and see some of their problems as well.
Guys, what's the business model? How do you generate revenue from this?
Good question. So the accounts to access the projects would all be a subscription-based monthly cost. And of course, the tags would be an asset sale directly to whoever will be buying those. So there would be two different subscription levels, one for the accounts and then one for the projects as well, similar to how websites are hosted currently.
All right, that's time, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll send you back to your breakout room now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our third team up is Alia. So first, again, we'll watch their pitch and then we'll bring them in for questions from the judges.
Hi, I'm Ibuka, the founder of Alia. Conducting a secured online test is one difficult task for instructors, especially with COVID. The existing solutions are time-consuming. They don't provide adequate performance reports, plus test takers have privacy concerns with the proctoring feature. During an interview with Tanya from Palmer International, who conducts English tests using Meetu, an existing proctoring platform, she complained about the lengthy process to create a test and the reporting inadequacy. It takes her a whopping 4 days to create a test, plus extra hours to create her own custom reports. She goes through the same process every time she conducts a test. When we did more customer interviews, we realized that there are more people like Tanya struggling with the current solutions. Another problem people like Tanya found with the current solution is the privacy issue. 80% of test takers we interviewed said they have privacy concerns with existing solutions, as some of the platforms require them to scan the environment before they start taking a test, and also they have a real proctor on the other side watching them take the assessment. They found it invasive and felt under pressure, which is why we created Alia. Alia makes it easy to conduct secured online tests with the help of artificial intelligence. With few clicks, Tanya can quickly set up an assessment, saving her 3 days, 23 hours, and 40 minutes. Along with the quick setup, using our configurable proctoring settings, she can secure her test and detect suspicious activities. Not just that, with our advanced performance reporting, she no longer needs to spend extra time creating reports. Alia also makes it easy for test takers to get started with the test, as certain requirements as environment scans are not needed. Rather, we ensure that the identity of every test taker is verified before they can start the test. We also keep a track of the user activities during the exam. After a test, a detailed report is prepared for the instructor to review. The current platforms only provide proctoring features, but we're more than that. With our smart test, instructors can better test the knowledge of a test taker as the question difficulty level changes based on their written performance. We also have something new in the industry. We call it exam music. This optional feature, when enabled by an instructor, allows a test taker, especially those with ADHD or similar disorder, to listen to curated music from Spotify during a test. This will also help calm any pressure they have about being remotely proctored. As research has shown, listening to music, mainly calm classical, before completing or during academic tasks such as testing, has been shown to make results better, since the music has a calming effect on the person's mind. The global online assessment market size is worth $4 billion. Our early focus is private training institute, but we plan to expand to the brick and mortar post-secondary institute very soon, as the need is high in that market. Alia subscription is $4 per test. I started working on Alia in 2018 while trying to solve my problem as a tech trainer, and I've learned a lot since its inception. Through the Propel Accelerator program and the MCE mentorship workshops, we were able to redefine Alia. We have a working product and already have our first customer trying out our product. Also, there are instructors waiting to use our platform. Our goal is to launch Alia in April. This version of Alia is scalable as it is set up on one of the best cloud solutions, Amazon Web Services. The core of our team is our diverse background and skill sets. We have the dedication and drive to make Alia a great product. I was a subject matter expert in tech training in my previous job and have vast knowledge in building enterprise applications. Chukwemeka develops the business strategy for Alia. Martins, our front-end developer, has good eyes for design. Nothing below standard ever passes Emeka, our head of quality. We also have a league of advisors that have been tremendous on this journey. The 25,000 will go a long way to further improve the product and get it close to its 1 to 2 year goal mark, and also help us increase our advertising budget. Thanks for watching.
All right, I will hand it back to the judges now for an 8-minute Q&A.
So one of the key components of your platform is to detect cheating. And I think one of the biggest ways students cheat is like when they're taking an exam, they work alongside other students. Someone takes it before, they pass on answers, or there's a lot of methods where students cheat, not just having their tools like in the room, but other people working alongside each other. Have you guys thought of the like different ways students cheat, how your platform comes and solves that, can detect like weird abnormal patterns? And since I saw that you guys launched your first MVP, have you guys actually seen real-time data on how your platform does better than other platforms detecting cheating?
Okay, first, we've analyzed different ways the student could cheat. Okay, one, if you take your eyes off the camera, you could be doing something. Okay, so we pick out those points. We call it activity log. Okay, we log those activities and tag them suspicious. And then when an instructor is reviewing a test, we show them all these activities, and they can then, because we have pictures of you taking your eyes away, or maybe picking up something or passing out. So we give this data to an instructor to decide if this was actually a suspicious action. Okay, we unlike what other platform does, that where they just lock you out immediately. You could not be cheating. You could be doing. You could be genuinely picking up a paper to try to type in something. So we get this data, and then we
raise an alert to the instructor to decide on what to do with that student. Okay, and we've launched our MVP, and we just did that. We just sent out the test link on the 15th of March to Pramo. So they're currently testing it out. We're hoping to get enough data by end of the month, okay, before we hit our launch by April.
So as it stands, the platform currently just detects eye movements, or is there other things that you guys are doing that's different than what's out there?
So we detect, we have a live stream where an instructor can join and see what you're doing in real time. Okay, so we detect any kind of object, like maybe a phone, or maybe if there's a second face. Okay, we also keep a track of your browser activity. Okay, so let's say if you switch tab, if you copy and paste something, we keep a track of what you copied and what you pasted, the timestamp. So we get this data and then we give it out to the instructor to make a decision.
Thank you.
I feel like this is a pretty busy market at the moment, given the pandemic. And when you're in a really competitive market, it's important to have really clear, unique value propositions. You've talked about a lot of different features and functionalities. What would you say is your most important differentiator from the other products out there?
Okay, so
I guess to start with that, to make it really straightforward, is the elimination of human involvement. So with Olia's artificial intelligence tool sets that isn't out there in the market today, that removes the fact that you need the logistical planning to set up an exam. Think about what our strategical release is, where we're thinking about the market in Africa as well as Canada. So thinking about Africa or Nigeria, where we are predominantly from, exams are typically done in the most analog way you can think of. Now bringing this, moving that logistical part of the, you're actually removing that cost that it takes these institutions to run and all of those, and then you're keeping it safe because people from a lot of places, they will travel into one location to take this test. So we're removing all those hurdles right now that will drive people, that would bring these headaches to people, whether it's from the institution side or it's from the people actually test takers. So we're removing all of those hurdles to provide a smooth way that they can be tested.
Yeah, and to add up to that, we, unlike what the existing solution does, okay, they lack an adequate reporting. Okay, during our interviews with instructors, we complain about that mostly. Okay, so using artificial intelligence, we are able to identify patterns on how users perform. Okay, and they present this data to an instructor. He or she can know where they're doing better, know how to maybe readdress the next batch of student that he or she will be training.
I have a quick question about your product direction. Are you building a standalone product, or are you looking to integrate into existing edtech solutions that might need such an application?
Okay, so we have a standalone product, okay, and also we are integrating into the top LMSs like Disable, Brightspace, Blackboard, and most of it. We're looking into having a plugin that can have them use our platform. Okay, and also if someone wants to use our platform as standalone, they can also use our platform.
Thanks.
Common question for me. It's around how do you generate revenue? So I thought somewhere in there you mentioned an enterprise type license, but then you also mentioned $4 a test. So if I'm a teacher teaching 25 kids, is that $100 revenue or $4 revenue? I'm just confused as to how you actually, how do you see building the revenue model here?
Don't be misled on. So the idea, the initial thought of Aulia is to provide a less expensive means for people to actually take tests in a secured environment where whoever that is administering the test can feel safe that their test, the integrity of the test is not jeopardized, and then the test takers can have that in a comfort zone. Now, that said, we're trying to make it portray an image where people could see that, oh, it's not super expensive to do this. Oh, we could actually afford it. Small to business, small to medium businesses are our targets. Certifications are our target. Certification bodies are our target. So we're trying to make it make people see that while you could have all of this technology, you could have it at a very low cost.
So of all the features that you have, is your key differentiator like a technology, or is it the price point?
The technology.
Just a last question. You stated that your primary customers are the certification bodies. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's where we're starting with. Okay, we know we have a large market out there, but it's difficult to negotiate with these brick-and-mortar universities. So we don't want to waste time going after them. Okay, we want to start from ground up. Okay, build our base and then gain traction from the private institutions before moving on to the big boys.
But if private institutions require to meet these certification requirements, don't you need to have those discussions first?
I didn't get that.
Sorry, that's time. So we're going to cut you off there now. So thank you, Alia. We'll return you guys to your breakout room now and move on to our fourth finalist. So we'll have Odyssey Technology Inc. We're going to watch their video again, and then we'll move into the Q&As.
My mom has a disease called Usher syndrome. This means she has progressive hearing and vision loss, so I've known pretty much my whole life that my mom's gonna go deaf. So as a kid, my parents didn't have to tell me, decrease your audio, you're gonna damage your hearing. I knew that hearing is precious, and you gotta do everything you can to protect it. So I was astonished when I started riding motorcycles to learn that there was no real viable method. Motorcyclists can lose their hearing pretty quickly, and this is because low and mid-range frequency noises overwork the hairs inside the ear canals. By overworking these hairs, the cells around these hairs actually die. And then this causes you to lose frequency bands of hearing. Less than 50 years ago, motorcyclists weren't required to wear helmets, but through education and technological developments, we're now wearing helmets because we know we need to wear them to be safe. And hearing protection is the next emerging market in the motorcycle industry. In Canada alone, there's over 625,000 registered motorcyclists, and in North America, there's over 10 million. In the US alone, between 2014 and 2018, they saw an increase of 1.5 million registered motorcyclists. And this number jumps drastically when we look globally to over 202 million registered motorcyclists worldwide. So we conducted many customer interviews, and based upon these, we determined criteria for our market. Our criteria were people who are safety conscious, who currently wear high quality gear, and people who currently wear a Bluetooth unit. So our device includes an active noise cancelling processor. And we target 5 specific frequency ranges deemed most likely to cause hearing damage by industry professionals and audiologists. We can reduce hearing by up to 40 decibels, which we've tested in a simulated environment with constant conditions. We also include a Bluetooth system on chip, and thanks to a licensing agreement with Sony, we can actually stream high quality audio, which is the same you'd see in a high quality Sony headset. So we launched our website in the beginning of January. Since then, we've had over 100,000 ad views, over 4,000 new website views, and over 110 expressions of interest. We've had interactions with potential customers, and we've had people come to us about possible expansions into potential markets that they've actually experienced hearing loss themselves in. We've also had interviews with some of the biggest names in the helmet manufacturing world, such as Fly Racing, who've expressed an interest in a partnership with us in the future. So current Bluetooth providers don't care about your hearing. This is because they only worry about audio, and we've had customer interviews tell us that they actually increase their audio in their Bluetooth units to overpower the wind noise. This isn't ideal. Hearing protection, such as earplugs, are really good. However, they're unbiased, meaning they cancel noise, meaning you have no situational awareness. This is where Odyssey comes in. We fall right in the middle. We provide you with high quality audio, but we also provide you with situational awareness not available through common earplugs. So we're 3 Memorial students. We're in various different programs, and we have a lot of knowledge to draw on. We have experience in oil and gas, aerospace and defense, and sales. And we divided our company's tasks according to our areas of expertise and our interests. So for me, I'm innovative, and Keely, she's probably one of the most personal people you'll meet, and Joel can be summed up in one word: analytical. Seriously, this guy wears a blanket that has a spreadsheet on it when he goes to bed. And we've been a team since high school, and we've all shared the combined vision of going full-time when we graduate. So we've also had the opportunity to work with both the MCE and the Propel Accelerator program. We've been able to garner business knowledge to ensure that Odyssey is successful as possible. So we started Odyssey in 2019, and since then we've finished our MVP, and we've worked really hard to ensure that our milestones for the summer release are possible. We plan to release Odyssey PPE in 2023, and we hope to set many more milestones in the future. So we're looking for funding to get over 2,000 pre-orders, and we need money to finalize our marketing, finalize our R&D, and set up production and assembly processes. We also need industry experts to review our current work, and we've engaged the help of the Natural Resource Council Industrial Outreach Program, and we're looking to start work with them in the fall of this year. So we aim to revolutionize hearing protection, not just for motorcyclists, but for everyone. We want you to hear what you need to hear and cancel what you don't. Lastly, we just want to say thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present here.
All right, I will hand it over to the judges for your 8-minute Q&A.
So we were curious as to the monetization approach here. I believe the plan is to sell this to helmet manufacturers. How do you plan to market to them? And is that accurate? Do you plan to sell directly to them? How do you plan to convince them that this is something they need to do?
So we do plan on selling to consumers is one of our biggest sell points because we launched our website and we've been consuming and marketing people who are into the motorcycle industry for
Sorry. So we're actually planning to target consumers directly. So we're going to have our own distribution market. We're also talking to distributors such as Amazon, as well as some of the other ones here in Canada who are motorcycle specific. So we actually plan to attend trade shows where we're going to be able to showcase our product to people to actually use. So this will include manufacturers as also consumers. We're also planning to target social influencers to use their existing market outreach, and we're going to continue running our generic ads because we've had great success with those. But to really answer your question, we're going to target consumers directly.
Thanks.
So I have a quick question here. 2023 is a long time to launch a product. So that's 3 years out. What would you need to do to launch a minimum viable product in 6 months from now?
Yeah, so looking at our project milestones, 2023 is looking at potentially launching into PPE, which is a potential expansion market for us. Our current product that we're focusing on, the Summit system for motorcycles, that one we're hoping to have launched by the end of 2021. So
yeah, and
2023 is just a potential future expansion.
And to add on to what Joel said, we've actually made 4 or 5 MVPs. We currently have one in the lab right now, which is actually completely operational. We're just undergoing testing. So that system is going to be launched in 2021 with our pre-orders launching officially at the end of this year.
I have a quick question. So I understand your noise cancellation is one of your key features, but what is your key differentiator from an intellectual property point of view? There's a lot of noise cancellation technology out there.
Yep.
Where are you guys in that space?
So we're not even going to patent our noise canceling. We're actually buying a noise canceling system on chip from a distributor. So they manufacture a noise canceling system on chip. It wasn't worth us to develop it all on our own. Our patentability is our combination of our system, but it's also our intellectual property for our iOS app, as well as our integration as a whole. So everything that we have isn't just let's buy it and put it in a system. You really got to connect everything together on a PCBE and design it to be cohesive and work properly. So that's sort of where we're targeting.
Okay.
So we're sort of more of a trade secret, I guess, approach than a let's go get patent. It's sort of keep our software secret and patent what we can in our hardware.
But on Sally's point, the model is you use somebody else's Bluetooth 5.0, use someone else's Google pairing, use someone else's 3D gesture. How do you protect yourself against, you know, Bose, Sony, Apple, Beats, Sennheiser, everyone else that's going to be out to eat your lunch?
Yep. So the way our system works is it's based around a single processor in the middle. So with a single processor in the middle, we have all of our own custom code. And then that's actually what integrates into your Bluetooth system on chip or your active noise canceling processor or your gesture engine. With hardware, it's not so as simple as like, this is mine, this is yours. Hardware is really nobody makes their own resistors and nobody makes their own integrated circuits. You buy from a manufacturer, and then we set up an NDA in place with Sony, and we set up an NDA in place with other manufacturers, and we incorporate it into our system. It's not so much as let's make our own everything. Our sort of protection is that all our software based, so it's going to be a sort of a trade secret. We've designed our own software for our iOS and Android apps. We designed our own software to run on our processor, and everything that runs on our system on chip and Bluetooth is actually custom software. It's not so much as you're just giving us a full working package. It only works for our system.
And to add what Robin's saying, on top of the physical product and the software, a lot of our product is also research that we've done into what specific frequency bands are common in wind noise on motorcycles and what specific frequencies are the most damaging to hearing.
And since you guys are taking this direct to consumer, how are you planning on, funding the branding or marketing of this? What's your strategy?
So we really plan to visit trade shows to be able to show our product to helmet manufacturers so they can actually see what we're selling. We also plan to be able to get social influencers to show their clientele. And also we have our generic ads been starting since January, meaning that we've had over 4,000 site views, over 100,000 ad views, and over 130 people have expressed an interest into our product.
And to add on what Keely said, the Mel Woodward Cup that's really where this initial kind of pre-seed funding falls in place. Like being an hardware company, we have a lot of steps along the line before we can even really release it. So we have to get our assembly lines on the go, and we have to get all that shipped to somewhere where we can manufacture it. So there's really a lot of work. So people, that's where we need the initial money. So we're allocated some of our money for marketing. We're also allocated some of our money to hire industry experts basically to review our current hardware, and the rest is going towards our pre-rollout.
I'm just curious, why did you guys choose motorcycles or motorcyclists as your first initial market?
That's sort of what I fell into. So when I started riding motorcycles in 2018, I met a lot of people between meetups and riding with friends that everybody complained about, hey, I hate the ringing in my noise after riding. And that was sort of where this started. And then obviously we've been going on, and we've even had people reach out to us now through our website saying, I'm an industrial truck driver, and when I'm riding my truck, we get over 100 decibels in the cab. And then that's really where we want to keep going. We don't want to just stop at motorcycling. Motorcycling was really just our beachhead of, is something we can relate to. We have an in with the market. We know people who can test the product for us. And then we're going to keep moving out so we can get more people to use it. And basically, we want to protect as many people as possible. And our goal in 2025 is to take our noise canceling and actually put it in hearing aids. So instead of protecting hearing, we're going to make sure that people who wear hearing aids don't have the distribution of the background noise when they're in the environment. So with people with hearing aids, background noise is really picked up more than audio. So we really want to cancel out that background noise and allow them to be not disturbed by that, and allow them to really have that.
I see a huge market segmentation challenge for you guys. So for example, if you go to Florida, you don't even have to wear a helmet. So
exactly.
That's a tough market. Can you describe your most typical frothiest, customer? Where's the biggest, prize here?
So the biggest person would be people who are really safety conscious, or people who wear really expensive gears, and we're targeting the people who currently have a Bluetooth unit in their helmet. So two people in the motorcycle market, Senna and Cardo, they have a yearly revenue of over $5 billion a year. So we're going to target their market directly. However, we're also targeting the people who wear the expensive helmets, the people who wear airbags on their motorcycles, the people who wear all the gear. It's not the people you're talking about who go around in socks and sandals, or like down in Florida where you got nothing on and you're cruising down and with your sandals and your flip flops on. It's not that. It's the really people who care about being protected.
To add to what Robin's saying, these other companies, Senna and Cardo, these are companies that make their own helmets with Bluetooth integration in them for audio, but with no degree of noise canceling or hearing protection.
All right, that's time. Thank you, Odyssey. We'll send you back to your breakout rooms now, and we've got our final team pitch coming up. So I'll welcome Keiki Hand. First, again, we'll watch their pitch, and then we'll hand it over to the judges for a Q&A.
We all know that a mouth-watering cake is the star of any party arrangement. But do you know how much time and effort it takes to order one like this? Probably not. So let me tell you a story.
Sarah is a mom of 2 kids, Sam and Jennifer. Sam's birthday is coming up and Sarah is stressed out to order the perfect cake for the party. She starts endlessly scrolling Google and Pinterest for some ideas, but she gets even more confused and annoyed because of the related and unrelated ideas. She finally makes a random decision, gets in touch with a few bakeries, sends them the picture, and starts chatting back and forth with all of them. She asks all of them the same questions, waits for their replies, and spends hours and even days just to finalize the details of the cake. She is now exhausted and certainly didn't have the best experience. And there are millions of people like her. We come to rescue Sarah, get her out of stress, save her time and energy, provide her the dream cake she wanted, as well as support the small businesses by saving their time too and growing their traffic with more customers. But how? Sarah simply heads onto our online cake designing and ordering platform, quickly answers a few basic questions. Our platform generates a few best matching predefined designs, and if Sarah is not completely happy with the suggestions, she simply starts customizing it the way she wants by using different tools available in the panel, or starts designing the cake from scratch. Once she's done, she publishes the design, and the app notifies all registered nearby bakeries which can offer their services. Sarah simply chooses one of them, makes the payment, and completes the order right there. It took her just 10 minutes and she had a lot of fun. The best part? Every time another client uses her design, Sarah will make money out of it, and small businesses started gaining more traffic.
Now let's design a cake. Here I answer a few questions and proceed with the one I like the most. I want to change the color. I click on publish and wait for bakeries to make an offer. I accept the best offer, make the payment, and I'm done. Our target market includes working moms with children under 18 years old who need custom birthday cakes, and in North America only there are over 30 million of them.
We also interviewed over 100 people and businesses in our target market and found out that more than 70% spent a day or more to go through the whole process, and they were highly interested in our service.
The global market size is $44 billion, but our serviceable, obtainable market targeting North America only makes us a $45 million business. And here is what makes us different. We are first in the market, our platform is super easy to use, and our business is highly scalable with no or very little extra cost. We will be charging 3% commission on every transaction and $2 flat fee per cake design. We are planning to become the largest online platform for cake designing and ordering, and we will be able to achieve this within the next 5 years because we have the perfect team for that. I'm a software developer, and Anna is a cake artist and a designer of over 4 years of experience. We have been running a cake business for a year and a half now, so we know exactly how it feels to order a custom cake, and we're the perfect team to tackle this issue. With the help of $25,000, we'll be able to further expand our team by hiring both developers and a marketing expert, build the platform quickly, and expose it to the world. Thank you for your attention.
All right, I'll hand it over to the judges for your last 8-minute Q&A.
So my question to you is, have you spoken to other bakeries and what have they been saying about your product? Because I find that your solution is there's going to be a bit of a bidding war, and it's going to drive prices down for a lot of baked goods and a lot of cakes. So I'm wondering what they've said about your solution and what the kinds of responses you've gotten.
Yeah, thank you for the question. That's a great question. We spoke to many bakeries, local bakeries, and we spoke even a few bakeries overseas, even in Europe. But because we are going to focus in the beginning in the local bakeries, we spoke many of them, and almost every single one of them were super excited, and they even said that they have been looking for such a solution for a long time because they're tired of communicating
and spending so many hours with chatting with clients. And yeah, almost all of them were super interested, and they find this like a lifesaver for them. And there's one more thing. Other than saving their time on this communication with their clients, one of the other advantages that we are planning to provide for bakeries is to provide online sort of booking system, because right now most of them do this manually by entering their orders after each chat on Facebook or maybe some other social media account. And sometimes they make mistakes, they forget someone, and their schedule gets messed up. And we are planning to offer this online booking system as well. Yep. I think you're muted, Elizabeth.
Oh, I just said thank you. It was...
Yep. No problem.
What is going to be your initial target market? So if you have to work with the bakeries, then there's a little bit of a local aspect. Where do you plan to roll this out first?
So we are planning to start with our local bakeries here in St. John's and Newfoundland. And we have to, from one aspect, one of our target market from the customer's perspective is the working moms who have children under 18 years old, and they look for birthday cakes for their children. And the second part is the local bakeries, custom cake makers. Not every single bakery, but mostly the ones that make custom cakes. So this is primarily for those businesses.
Cool, thanks.
Have you also looked at other verticals that may need a custom, maybe products like cake? Have you done any research outside of the cake industry?
Sorry, I didn't quite understand the question. Can you say again, please?
So have you looked at other industries that would require a custom product like cake? And if you have, which one of them have you looked into?
You mean other than cakes, other products other than cakes? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so cakes is our primary goal right now, but other than cakes, we are looking to expand the business to even the cupcakes. They're like, you can customize the cupcakes too, like especially for kids. A lot of times clients approach us and ask like to put, let's say, Mario or other characters on the cupcakes. So cupcakes is a big industry too, and they can be also fully customized.
Thank you.
You described your, I think you called it your service obtainable market as, I thought you said $45 million. Is that basically the total cake market? Like what's the gross receipts for selling cakes? Or is that what you think 3% of the cake market is, plus your $2 design fee is a $45 million? Maybe you could just help me understand that.
Yeah, so $45 million basically comes from, it's not the full market. We assume that over time, we will be able to attract at least half of the market to come our platform and order their cakes through our platform. And by charging 3% commission and $2 cake design for cake design, we'll be able to get into this size of market.
So the 50% of the market times $2 design fee at 3% is 45 million. That's not the gross sales of cake sales in North America is not 45 million.
No, not the cakes. The cake industry is much bigger. It's $44 million, and it has a growth rate of 3.3%. $45 million is just the customizable cakes ordered by working moms. This is the statistics. It's not the cake industry. This is our target.
So you have a double-sided market here. You have bakeries on one side and cake eaters on the other. How do you plan to ensure that both sides of that market exist when you first start to roll the product out, and how will you handle if one of them doesn't?
Sorry, your question is about if one side
on one side we have the customers, on the other side we have the bakeries, right? What if someone isn't willing to come join?
Yeah.
I think for the bakeries, we don't worry much because, as I said, even though it seems they're like our competitors, but in fact they are not really much because they will also benefit by working with us, because other than the profits that we bring to them, they don't have anything basically to lose. We are not their direct competitors, and in fact, we don't have any direct competitors as a technology. We are first in the market, and for customers, again, they have nothing to lose. It's just even the $2 cake design fee in the beginning, just to attract customers to use our platform. We are planning to make like free trials or free design for the beginning to attract more traffic. And once we get the platform working and we have the proof of concept, we may then start charging this $2 design fee. But in the beginning, I don't see any reason for people not to use the platform because it really saves so much time.
Thanks.
I see some channel conflict here. I get the sense that you guys are already baking cakes and selling them, right? Now you're going to go out and ask others on the platform. You know, you might steal the recipes, the top flavors. Like, is the plan to basically for you guys to step back once you get some scale, or are you going to continue to be cake makers too?
So there is no stealing recipes because no one is going to publish their recipes. It's just someone designed a cake. She says, "Here's my cake. I want to see who is going to make this cake." And on the other side, it's like Upwork. Someone posts a job and someone reacts and says, "Hey, I can do this." And then they meet each other. And instead of someone sending the same picture to tens of bakeries, she just publishes it and other bakeries.
My point is more that you know you're out looking for a quote on the cake, but you make the cake. So how do you manage that conflict?
Oh, we're actually going to get some.
Sorry, that's the time off. I'm gonna have to cut you off. Thank you so much, Keiki Hand. So that's our last presentation. We'll send Keiki Hand back to their room. Those are some really impressive pitches, and I'm sure the judges are gonna have a tough time deliberating. So we've now heard from our 5 teams. The judges are going to leave and begin their deliberation. So you have 30 minutes to make your decision. For the rest of us, we have 2 options. So you can see, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, if you click on Expo, you'll find virtual booths for some of our amazing student entrepreneurs. And the other option is to enter into the networking area. So you can use a video chat to connect with others. Again, simply just use the left-hand navigation to move between the different areas. The winners will be announced at 7:40 p.m. Newfoundland time. So be sure to come back here to the main stage to discover who will be the winner of the 5th annual 2021 Mel Woodward Cup. So keep an eye on the chat just for a reminder to come back to the main stage at that time. Welcome back, everybody. We're ready to get started again. So earlier when we played the Where Are They Now video, we had a little technical hiccup and we weren't able to show the big surprise of the evening. So we're gonna pick up the video where we left off, and please enjoy. I think we might be having another slight technical difficulty. That's what it's like working from WebEx and Zoom and Hopin. I'd say after a whole year doing this, we're starting to get used to a couple of little hiccups every time we have some sort of a presentation. So we'll give them a minute to get the video coming back up. While we're doing it, maybe you can place your own bets for who you think is the winner and what your favorite pitches were.
Mel Woodward Cup was amazing. The only thing I was kind of disappointed about with the Mel Woodward Cup is that we didn't actually end up getting a physical cup when we won.
So we won the cup, but where's the cup?
It was really more of the Mel Woodward giant check than it was the Mel Woodward Cup, if you ask me.
Well, I guess it's a bit weird to have it called the Mel Woodward Cup without an actual cup, but, you know, I understand, I guess.
Awesome. So it's pretty exciting that the Mel Woodward Cup really does have a cup now. I'd like to now invite the chair of the judging panel, Jeremy Andrews, to share his thoughts on the competition and to announce the runner-up and the winner. All right, over to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Anna. So I wanted to touch on two things before we get to the winners today. So the first is that I've been blown away. I was just telling the judges by the overall quality of the application packages and the pitches that we saw. I think back to when I competed in the Mel Woodward Cup in 2017, and I know in comparison to our application package, what we saw today was pretty top tier. So first of all, shout out to all the teams for putting together those amazing pitches, those pitch videos, and the application packages, and for showing up super professionally. The second aspect that I wanted to touch on was that it was a very hard decision. We had to deliberate for the full time that we had, and even at the end, it was pretty down to the wire. So I think that speaks to the quality of the pitches and the applications. And the most exciting aspect for me is that it keeps just getting higher and higher every year. And I think it speaks a lot to where the Newfoundland tech ecosystem is going. And yeah, I personally found that super exciting. So the moment we've all been waiting for. First, I'm going to announce the runner-up for the 2021 Mel Woodward Cup pitch competition, and that is BX Medical Solutions. Woohoo! All right, hey Alex and Malcolm.
Hey. Hello.
So you are the runners-up this year, taking your second place prize.
That's awesome. Oh, we're so honored. That's incredible.
Thanks
Thank you so much to all the judges.
Also, shout out to all the other teams. The pitches were great this year.
Yeah, it was such a tough competition.
All right. And so without any further ado, only remaining task is to announce our first place winners for this year's 2021 Mel Woodward Cup competition, and that is Odyssey. Congratulations, Odyssey.
Congrats.
Robin, Keely, Joel, congratulations.
Thank you.
Are
Thank you.
first place winners for the 2021 Mel Woodward Cup. How does it feel?
I don't know. We'll figure out in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Once it sinks in.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Great pitch, guys. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, this is exciting. Yeah, onwards and upwards.
Congratulations.
Wow. Well, thank you, Jeremy, and a huge congratulations to the top two teams. This brings my role to a close in today's event. It's been a pleasure to be your host today. Every year, I'm so impressed with the startups that take part in the Mel Woodward Cup, and it makes me extremely excited for the future of the Newfoundland and Labrador startup community. Before we wrap up today, I'm going to hand it over to Florian Guillaume, the director of the Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship, who's going to give us some closing remarks. So thank you, and the floor is yours, Florian.
Thank you, Anna, and congratulations to those two great teams. As you know, this competition aims to accelerate your startup, so we hope to hear great things from each of you soon. I'd like to congratulate all 5 finalists and the other 37 teams that applied to the Mel Woodward Cup this year. Before I close this event, I'd like to reflect on what this competition has accomplished over the past 5 years. To date, 168 teams and 374 participants have applied to this competition. Including this year, $180,000 has been invested in early startups with great success stories like Collab, BriefSuite, and PolyUnity. And we look forward to many more. This competition has created a process at Memorial to advance startup ideas. All applicants receive feedback from judges and can opt in to share their application with some of our partners. For example, last year, 3 non-finalist applicants received $135,000 from MyTax, and 3 finalists were accepted into the enterprise program at Genesis following the Mel Woodward Cup. And finally, this competition has become a showcase of the amazing entrepreneurs at Memorial University. The legacy of Mel Woodward is well alive and has grown and continues to grow the province's startup ecosystem, even during the pandemic. In fact, we received 50% more applications to this year's competition than before the pandemic. The entrepreneurial culture has never been so alive at Memorial University. And if you think that the past 5 years were amazing, wait until you see what is coming up in the next 5. Of course, we have a couple of ideas to embrace the opportunities created by the pandemic and the new world that is emerging. And I look forward to sharing details with you in the near future. I'd like to close this event by once again thanking the Woodward family, ACOA, KPMG, Altitude Media, Perfect Day, TechNL, McInnes Cooper, Genesis, the Gardner Center, and HEORCA, and all faculties and schools at Memorial University. Thank you as well to our MC, Ana Gozain, our judges, Rodrigo Iniguez for the amazing visuals that you have seen throughout the events, and Naya Abdelgaber, Alan Hyatt, Jason Trask, James Yassim, and other students at MCE, Susan White in the Faculty of Business Administration, Jackie Locke in the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science, and John Duff at Conference and Event Services at Sydney Hill campus for the technical support. I would like to give a special mention to Elise Summers, who has been the creative coordinator behind the past 5 editions of the Mel Woodward Cup. Elise has now moved into a new role at Clear Risk. Elise, you will be missed. Finally, I would like to thank all of you for attending this event and supporting our finalists. To all students here tonight, I hope the unveiling of the new cup inspires you to start getting ready for the 2022 Mel Woodward Cup. This has been a very exciting event. I hope that you enjoy it too. Bonne soirée à tous. Have a good night.